ông sa tàn so cho họ bên mong nê thuộc cụ nụ nó cho nó đê nó dễ nê sử nê cho nhẹ cho chế nê thuộc cụ nụ bà tì mà nó cụ cho tu cho nhà cho xài cho vào mà đủ xe dùng chát đi dùng ngàn dùng nên nó cho cụ thể cụ dùng sẽ sắp ra đây được chứ mới giờ bỏ tao đây nữa cụ sẽ nè nữa nè cho cụ nhau đi nhau dễ bây giờ cụ cho không cho dự cụ cho đi cho nên cho cha nè sĩ nè lúc sĩ hở cha nè cho nhẹ cha nè cho con cụ lúc phạt thì được nó nè đó cho con sự lúc phạt thì nó cụ dùng sẽ sắp rồi cho rồi cho rồi cho mình chú mình xài nè mà lúc sẽ luôn dự rộng bao hạt giờ nó cho con sự luôn nó chị nên nó cho sự này cứ sao cháu giống một cô anh nói cho họ cái một trò của dù sẽ sắp đầu chỉ mới giờ có đâu nữa anh cho được cho cái bao nữa cho nhau đi nhau gì này sẽ to á để thông rồi phê rồi để cho một chế cả một ca một hồ phát triển tu thì mình cũng sao được cả được ba còn nên nào cái nó rộng một ca một hồ một tổ mình số mình nhỏ có trong chỉ có một cái phi lưu cổng tay cổng ta cổng xe cổng trừ ô đã chỉ là có tao trời đi lưu xe chỉ nữa trời đi lưu xe nhẹ nữa cho công dự cho cứ rất đi cho cứ mình họ cũng được bề sư này chứ bao rồi này cái đi tôi hạt tại cuối một cổng nó sẽ chỉ có nó dùng xe rồi nó dùng xe sắp rồi chỉ mới giờ bỏ đầu nữa mà để con này cho bỏ đi nó siêu cái thằng này nó dùng một trăm ô mà
Every great journey begins with the act of daring for something greater, for something that lies beyond one's horizon. Dr. Shur Vangyi began his lifelong love of learning with the simple act of raising his hand and daring. He was 8 years old and was walking on a dusty road in the mountains of Laos. The local district chief had taken him and his classmates to their new school. Upon seeing an airplane flying out of Punsamban, the chief had asked a group of children, "Who amongst you will one day fly an airplane like that one and continue on to school on the other side of the country?" No one raised their hands except for the little boy who would one day become Dr. Shur Vangyi. It may have been the eagerness of innocence or a certain childish bravery that compelled him forward. But from that day hence, he stayed true to the vision he had glimpsed in the sky, not just of an airplane, but of the larger world beckoning him on the wings of that marvelous flying machine. Thus began the unlikely story of this beloved father, grandfather, husband, and tireless advocate for the Hmong and Lao people. From then on, he would carry a dream that would take him across oceans, change lives, and uplift an entire people. He stayed true to that dream, even when the war in Indochina ravaged his country and led him along with his fellow Hmong, to flee Laos. At a time when education was not seen as valuable among the Hmong people, when farming was believed to be the only future, he insisted on learning.
Nên chính tao là hạt tàng, chứ kỳ cần đợi, yo tu yo shi, cái phê lúc họ trông, vàng mình cho nên chế mong.
Dr. Vang sợ, yu thảo lưu cho lì, nu tỷ yi, y phang cho bùa bế cho xiang. Nu yo tu tung sao đợi yi lên mi nhòa. Nu chỉ hùa vang yi vang, nu na hùa mò yang. Nu yo, nu tu chính gạo của nu lưu chang plau chế nì. Ở tu mò chỉ tu mi nhòa. Mi, mai căng, yo li tổng thống giả lao. Wing, yo le yang. Ming. Mai cu, yo mua mong li. Dr. Vang sợ, mua cổ o tu xin chữ. Hai tu, great grandson. Gần lưu chang plau, nhớ hùng nâng tua xa. Christopher, Richard, Marcus, Liana, Julianne, Cash, Dakota, Talon, Jace, Ginger, Skylar, Chloe, Caden. Bố yo nhỏ hôn nên đua xa một ý chí. In 1960, as the Vietnam War broke out, he joined the CIA-backed Hmong Army in Laos and became a paratrooper. He saw combat and performed his duties honorably for his homeland. After 9 months, he was promoted to intelligence officer, gathering critical information for American forces. Eventually, he left the military in order to pursue what he had always felt was his true calling, education. He believed that he could better serve his people with a pen instead of a weapon. In 1964, he was among a handful of students who received an American Field Service Scholarship to study in the United States. He traveled to the United States and attended high school in Ackley, Iowa, and later in Detroit, Michigan. He went on to earn his bachelor's degree in business from the University of Hawaii and obtained his master's and doctorate degrees in business administration from the United States International University in San Diego. In 1972, he returned to Laos and started working for the Ministry of National Economy of Laos as the Deputy Director for the Department of Commerce. He helped manage all aspects of the Lao economy, from manufacturing to agriculture, and facilitated the expansion of businesses throughout the country. He worked in this position for 4.5 years until the communist Pathet Lao began to overrun the country. When the war in Indochina unraveled catastrophically for the Hmong, his belief that the pen was mightier than the sword was vindicated. As allies of the United States, the Hmong were facing deadly reprisals from the communist forces. The American withdrawal from Southeast Asia was swift, and barely a handful of Hmong, along with General Vang Pao, were flown to safety in third-party countries. The leadership void left behind caused Hmong and Lao refugees to flee to Thailand. At this desperate moment, Dr. Shur Vangyi and his old friend, Dr. Yang Dao, went to the United States Embassy in Thailand and pled for the lives of the thousands of Hmong and Lao refugees who were desperately trying to escape the communist onslaught. When he and Dr. Yang Dao went to the United States Embassy in order to petition the American government for help, arguing that the Hmong and Lao refugees had sacrificed so much for the American cause in Laos. Both men knew that they did so with no authority or political backings of any sort. Their only motivation was to save as many lives as possible. Their gamble paid off, and the American representative agreed to grant protected political refugee status to thousands of Hmong and Lao individuals. Dr. Shur Vangyi and Dr. Yang Dao helped draft the resettlement plans that would eventually save countless lives. Where the sword had failed in Indochina, the pen has succeeded in saving Hmong and Lao lives. This important episode in the history of the Hmong people is now an obscure fact, known by few and remembered by even fewer. The memory of it may one day fade away as that generation leaves us. But it speaks to a truth, a glimmer of hope, which has always guided the life of Dr. Shur Vangyi. He had learned as a young man thrust into war that the cruel and the unjust will always seek to justify the world as it is by saying that nothing is possible. But life had also shown him that the world can only become a better one if we demand the impossible. After the war, he co-founded Lao Family Community Incorporated, an organization whose main purpose was to help Hmong and Lao refugees navigate the complexities of life in America, particularly in regards to employment and education. In that role, he spoke up tirelessly for those who could not speak for themselves. His numerous presentations at conferences, as well as his many appearances at public hearings, were always guided by a sense of justice. He always encouraged his fellow Hmong to pursue an education. He strongly believed, and in his own words, that every child should be educated. No one should be left behind. Education leads to human growth and enables one to take care of oneself and one's family. Education, for him, was not merely a personal achievement. It was a responsibility toward others and a duty to oneself.
Anna, you must remember today that is your special day. Today is your day, so you must listen to your and Pooh and your daddy and mommy for your good future, okay? Today, I don't have much to say, but I have something to say to you. And you must remember this. This is a guide to lead you to get higher education. I have a good question to ask you, so you must remember. Are you happy to be graduated from high school today?
Yes.
How do you picture yourself in the next 10 years?
As a doctor.
Remember, that is a commitment, okay? You study hard, not to marry too soon,
Yes.
not to marry quick. You must go to college before getting married. Remember, life, living together, loving each other is more than anything else in the world. We, as Hmong people, most of our grandparents are not educated, so they are poor. Even those who came to America, they are too old. They can't get to college. Look, your example. you have a commitment. Even while you is working, you continue to have education at bedtime on part-time. Education is very, very important. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Dr. Shur Vangyi was a thinker and a visionary. He saw the world not only as it was, but as it could be. He was never satisfied with the world as he found it. His heart was heavy with the sorrows of the Hmong people. He believed that they deserved freedom, dignity, and a place to call home. He never betrayed those beliefs. His idealism often took him far away from his family. He traveled all over the United States. His journeys took him to Australia, Hong Kong, Thailand, Laos, and other parts of Asia. Always, he pursued the dream of a homeland for the Hmong. Always, he fought for the safety and dignity of those who were still trapped in refugee camps in Thailand. Though distance sometimes separated him from those he loved, his determination never faltered. Everything he did was rooted in love, love for his family, love for his people, and love for the future generations and the hope they carried.
不知道嘅刚下了个错过，路崩路绿的多，最好的梦，最给的老的故事，说起蛋糕最给种，有着做样子，直到哭了。có ta lệ bông của mùa yo ta nữ chạy nhỏ nỡ nó cứ yo chẳng cả lưu số cô để có giờ cho cùng mù lo yo chỉ yo vì rèn cho cú xuân la có ta có mà cho khang to sai cú ý xin anh mà tao xin chia lỡ ta cho bố mồ不知道做给路了个错过，怒崩了里有太多，高大个古草都上，一心能了个一知道，古一路路中，个知道古。có ta lệ bóng của mùa yo ta nữ chạy nhỏ nỡ nó cứ yo chẳng cả lưu số e có giờ cho cùng mong lo yo chỉ yo vì đủ cho wo vì tu mong chỉ tu là yo vì luôn đủ cho chỉ cho cùng
In his later years, Dr. Shur Vangyi also worked for the city of Fresno, a city which had become home for thousands of Hmong people. In that role, he helped families, advocated for young people, and mediated conflicts. He helped people who felt that their voices were not being heard. On May 30th, 2012, for his tireless service to the city of Fresno, he was honored with a key to the city of Fresno, and Fresno City Mayor Ashley Swearingen proclaimed April 3rd as Dr. Shur Vangyi Day. And yet, his life was defined not by any of his numerous awards or personal achievements. Instead, the full meaning of his life could only be measured by the countless lives he touched and helped along the way. On so many occasions and for so many people, he selflessly nurtured one life after another and propelled them forward. And in doing so, he bound his destiny with that of all the people he loved and fought with, as well as fought for. That is the true measure of who he was and whom we lost today. He was once asked during a conference whether the sacrifices he had made in his life were worth it. His reply was, "The question is not whether all the sacrifices I have ever made for the Hmong people were worth it. The question is whether I had any choice. Every time I saw my fellow Hmong trampled upon and taken advantage of, I realized that the only choice I had was to act and to advocate for them. However great the sacrifices for myself and my family, the choices that I made were always for justice, decency, and dignity for the Hmong people."